with what's going on in the world today, and for eon, I find it funny. Not funny, comical funny, but funny in the slang term funny. Like, all right. Is when we want to travel to places. We learn about the culture and beliefs and things like that, and it's fun, it's cool, it's exciting. But yet, when these things are not a benefit to one, then here comes the true colors. Here comes the judgment, the criticism, the complaints, the nitpicking, things like that. Think about it. You travel somewhere, oh my God, this is beautiful, and this is going on, and this happens, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Now, it's something that is taught, it's called ethnocentrism. Take time and looking up, that's where one believes that their culture, their belief, their way of being or doing things is the right and the only right way. Now you think all these back in the day before this control or be conquer or be conquered mentality came into play. That's really all what that is. Look at what's going on in the world now. It's like, oh, yeah, ally. Oh, you're doing this? Oh, no, enemy. It's like, is it really, or is it just a difference in opinion, a difference in doing something? Does it mean that it's necessarily, and I'm talking about the mundane things. On the mundane level. Because, to be honest, we can't expect to fix the bigger things when the mundane stuff is still bothersome. Once we can get past that, then, the bigger issues won't necessarily be as big. Because a lot of the bigger issues can be solved through understanding the things that we may view as being not that big. Communication is one. We use different words for different things. We have different slangs. Like, I said funny to someone else. Funny might be like, okay, well, I don't see anything comical about it. And it's like that. The whole conquer or be conquered. To be honest, has that worked? I remember, and that's just, a history lesson. Set aside from the things, what I'm about to go into anyway. Set aside from Donalds and all of that. Let's get to the basics, History lessons. We go back, we read through histories. Now, yes, give or take, certain things are told from different sides, but if you can actually see the truth, because the truth lies in the middle, then you can put this together as well. And it's taking a step out of ethnocentrism. Everybody's guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it, because if it's something that's new or it's like, no, it's just not your truth. Instead of being wrong, could just be not your truth. But hey, that's how I see things. That doesn't have to be your truth either. But there were so many different cultures, different tribes within certain cultures, and so on and so forth. But yet they all had that mutual respect and acceptance of one another, knowing that that's how they go about things, but that's not my truth, or that's, I do stuff just a little bit different. It's like cooking. I seen on Facebook, there was something going around. How do you make your Kool-Aid? That one like, what do you mean? How do you make your Kool-Aid? You put the Kool-Aid, the sugar, in the water. There's different ways of going about that. Some people put a little bit of hot water, then they put the Kool-Aid in, then they put the sugar. That way everything melts, and then they put cold water in, and then they put it in the refrigerator. Of course, yes, you stir it. For some, no, they put the sugar in, then the Kool-Aid, then the water, and then they mix it up. Some people put the Kool-Aid in, or some people put the sugar in, or the Kool-Aid. Yeah, y'all get the gist of the things. There's only so many ingredients that exist. There are only so many ingredients, and we can put those ingredients in, but in different ways. Like baking a cake. There are some cakes where if you put the ingredients in a different order, the flavor is going to be slightly different. Or something might not mix well. And that's fine. But is that the only way to make that cake? No, it's not. Other ways to make that cake. And I mean, with all the food videos. There's one that I follow. She's hilarious. Hey, some stuff is just differently different. You go and try it. I might not try it, but hey. And that's honestly what I enjoy most about the world and exploring and learning and sharing. Is that everything is differently different. And you learn from opposition. Opposition doesn't necessarily have to be something negative. We got fire from opposition. That's a positive. You take a Flintstone and rub it on you get some sparks. Oil and water, you learned about layers and fluidity and sedimentation and all that great stuff. Be a science. And that's what makes the world that it is. If everything was same old, nobody would want to travel. Nobody would want to go anywhere. Why? It's just like at home. You might as well stay at home. You feel me? People go to different places because what do they say? I need to change. I need to switch it up. I need a new pace. Wanted to see this. Wanted to see that. The first time I went to New York, like literally concrete jungle. Like where I'm at is a small, big, small area. You get the mixture. You see grass everywhere, even downtown. There's still speckles of grass, but to see nothing but, it was completely different. It was differently different, but it was beautifully differently different. Not everybody's going to enjoy that. Yeah, it was the traffic, but for me, it was exciting. Like, wow, there really is a lot of traffic. Even when I was in California, like, I'm doing 50 on the highway in the rain, Everybody else around me doing, 35. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, it's different. They're like, it don't rain that much out here. We ain't got rain tires, which, you wouldn't have to need to. Just like, in other parts, they not going to have anything to reinforce earthquakes. Because, you don't get it. So why? You go over to an architect in a place that don't get earthquakes. I'm like, yes, I want this to stabilize. They're going to look at you like that's different. We'll do it, but, you don't need it. Well, that's just, how I'm used to doing things. Okay, hey. That's the beauty of the world. Now, there is that opposition that, we know on the other side. We lived in it. We lived around it. Everybody has. We see it. We hear about it. We read about it. We watch it. But that's what makes the world the world. But yet, in the midst of all those differences, there's commonalities. And just those commonalities, if that's what you choose to not, you could choose not to. But to appreciate and respect. These can be better. It can. It can. Going up with the history and the culture of my ancestors and those that came before me, the world was different generations before. And it's different now. And we can see that. Know that in history. That's why knowing where it is that you came from to know where it is that you're going is a key. It is a key. In a watch, there's many different mechanisms. The hands of the clock is no less important than the cogs in the back that you can't see. Or any less important than the batteries. Or the glass that overlays. Or the decorative background. Or the name. Or the wristband. Without any one of those pieces, the watch wouldn't be able to function properly. Same thing with the world. We have progress, we have growth, we have moving forward, we have all of that. We have traditions. We have all these different elements. We have earth, we have air, we have fire, we have water, we have ether or spirit, or we have animals, we have plants, we have people, we have ancestors, angels, other guides, and it's all different. But yet, one thing remains true that unites it all. It exists in some form or another, regardless of how those describe it. And that's the beauty. But I'm different.